You did not choose the womb that births you into your birthright, and there is no certainty that you will be loved, that you will be nurtured, that you will be protected, or that you will survive. 1 minute, you're in a dark, muffled circumference of your mother's womb. The next, you're in the unrelenting world. My mom was a 17-year-old child mother herself. I did not have the fortunate luck to land in a well-to-do family or a respectable working-class family. I was born into a family of addicts. Addicted to drugs, alcohol, cigarettes, gambling, criminality. We were a family of guilt trips, blame, victimization. One thing is for sure, we knew how to endure. My twin and I weren't the first in our families to endure the shitstorm. We came from a family of shitstorm survivors. My mother and her siblings survived their shitstorm. My grandmother and her brother survived theirs. This storm, like many, has casualties. My brother is one of those casualties. This isn't a story of bad parents, or poverty, or abuse. This isn't the story of my dead brother. This is a story of letting that all go, of giving back my bones. Families have secrets, and mine has many. The truth about what happened to my brother is still unknown. Some say he was kidnapped by my father. Some say my mother gave him up willingly. My last memory of Christopher is his 2nd birthday. I remember he smashed his face into his cake. He was beautiful. Blonde hair, blue eyes, a sure sign of our different fathers. Why then did Christopher end up with my father, drowned in the Roaring Fork River? 17 years would pass until we were compelled to travel back to Colorado to try and answer that question. We were compelled by a single rock. On a road trip, my twin had stopped by to visit our brother's gravesite for the first time in Glenwood Springs, Colorado. When the news got back to my grandmother that a crude rock with barely legible writing acted as Christopher's headstone, she was livid. She decided that she was to have a new headstone put in place and that we would be traveling to Glenwood Springs to ensure that it was up to her standards.
I'm going bye-bye. I'm riding my thumb all the way.
She was not going to let my brother be disgraced a second time. The problem was that my grandmother's health was failing due to cancer. This would be the only and last time she could make a trip like this. And so we decided to make it as grand as possible and travel all the way to North Dakota to visit where her and her family homesteaded years ago. In essence, this trip was to act as her last journey home. This would be the last time she visited her parents' and grandparents' graves before settling in her own. This trip was her way of giving back her bones. The trip was hard, emotionally draining. It was also gratifying. I saw firsthand the church my grandma attended, the swimming pool her and her brother swam in. We even parked on the outskirts of Lover's Lane, and I watched her eyes light up as she talked about lovers. I saw many a cemetery and was able to get some sort of family lineage in place. Families with secrets don't talk openly, and so there was always a sense of wild ignorance in the family. I saw her deep sadness in visiting these graves. Perhaps it was because her own grave was calling to her.
I'm glad I got to make another trip back here. And I really didn't think it'd be this hard. I love you, Mama. I I love you, Dad. But I have to really say goodbye this time, because I can't come back.
When we arrived in Glenwood Springs, we were on the last of our journey. First, we stopped to see the crude stone ourselves. We also visited the Roaring Fork River in Aspen, the site of where my brother allegedly climbed into the river and drowned. Aspen only angered me more. How could my brother wind up in Colorado? Or better yet, dead in this river? I wanted answers, and so I sought to find them. I looked up his obituary. I ordered the police report. I contacted the medical examiner. I tried to locate my father for answers. All to no avail. There were no answers to find. In the end, this family secret remains a secret. My brother was a casualty of the family dysfunction. And 2 years after our trip to Colorado, my grandmother succumbed to her 61 years of smoking. And though we were connected by genes, our bones sharing a lineage, we no longer have to let them walk the earth for us. Those bones don't have to decide our fates. I didn't have to be another casualty of the family. I've heard that every 7 years your cells regenerate themselves, that you're a new person. I can't eradicate the musty memories my bones have endured. I may have to literally carry those bones forever, but every 7 years I have the opportunity to shed my skin, like a tarantula. It's a slow, painful process becoming someone new. If you drop a tarantula, it may die. Its skin is so fragile that if it breaks, the tarantula has no hope. I think I'd like to live in the fragility of my new skin than the certainty of my bones. And so, mother, grandmother, I'm giving back my bones.